Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the agenda for Thursday, the 21st of March.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Morning, Lane. I want to start with a little bit of behind the scenes inside the ACC. Yesterday afternoon, it was quite a peaceful Wednesday afternoon in the office. To pull you behind the curtain, we share the office with the Hits. They sit right behind us. And then sort of just off to our left is ZM. Why we sit there, I still don't know. We stick out like dog's balls.
We do. Yeah,
among everyone else, it's otherwise kind of a library except for us. But we were being quite well behaved yesterday. All of a sudden, ZM found a PlayStation 2 and SingStar, and the ZM girls just started singing. By the way, so flat, and it just shattered the peace of the office.
Did you tell Sniper 1 to take the shot?
I went in there just to say, what the bloody hell's going on in here? This is a place of work. And yeah, there were two girls singing on the SingStar. And I saw that they had a PlayStation 2. And for a while now, I've wanted to do a Super Rugby or All Blacks predictor where we get a PlayStation 2 and get Rugby 08 or 07, 05, one of those games.
Jonah Lomu Rugby, is that the one?
Jonah Lomu's on PlayStation 1. That would be good as well, although I don't remember if you can do Super Rugby teams on that. Right. But yeah, and then simulate the games and see if... use that as a match winner predictor. So I went in and I was like, oh, whose PlayStation is this? So it's this girl over here. So what other games you got? She goes, oh, they're all in the box over there. I go into the box over there, pull out 4 copies. They're just, all 4 of them were just different versions of SingStar. All she had was 5 versions of SingStar. She had a box of tinsel, wigs, maracas, the whole thing. I was like,
my God.
Yeah, it was very punishing.
Did you, as you left, did you just lob an incendiary bomb in there and just napalm the whole room?
Yeah, just pull the pin out, roll a grenade in and slide the door shut. No, I just walked out. I just walked out and went to the pub, to be honest.
Yeah, good call.
That's exactly what happened to me. Let's get into some sports, Lane. The NBA, you sent this through into the group chat this morning, is set to introduce live betting lines to NBA League Pass. So that's how you can watch the NBA. That's their own streaming service. So viewers will be able to track betting odds as they watch the games and then pick them as they come up. So as the scores change, the line will shift. And then as you're watching it, you can just tap on the thing and be like, yeah, I want on that, I want over, I want under, I think they're going to win by 10, because the lines change throughout the game.
Yeah.
And so now it's just going to be inside the app. Now this will only be available for like DraftKings or whatever the American ones are.
You won't be able to do it in New Zealand, obviously.
No, I won't be able to do it in New Zealand. But this is a great idea, and I can't believe I didn't think someone was going to do this, because as it stands, when I watch League Pass, which I do most Sundays, I'll just park up on the couch and watch like 2 or 3 games of basketball. I've got the game up. I then have to put my bet on the TAB app. Then I'll open up the NBA app on my phone as well, so I can keep track of the box score.
Yeah.
Because I'll place like a 5-leg multi.
Yeah.
But now, so then I'm watching the game, checking the box score, forgotten what my multi was, got to go and check that. Now this stuff is all basically going to be on the screen. And it makes so much sense for all of the sports that we watch.
I know, cricket. That's why I threw in there. I was like, how good would this be for cricket if you were watching cricket on the stream and there's just the live odds changing? And a prime example is the last Test match, Black Caps Australia. The odds were fluctuating like crazy. I got Australia at $4.50 or just under $5 on that last day because the wickets were losing. And I got on them. I mean, some would call me a traitor, yes, but I had a vibe. I had a hunch. And so, but then it wildly swung back to Australia, and they're only paying $1.50 about 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
So if that's up on the screen, you're just like, boom, boom. And especially if you're watching on your phone on League Pass, or if you're watching on your phone, whether it's TVNZ On Demand or whatever, and just go, boom, boom, I'm on.
Yeah. And then the article didn't say that it would do this, but it said that it would keep track of live odds so you can just jump on the bet. Surely it could track your bet for you. Because, for example, if you, like, going back to the basketball example, my multis will be like Anthony Davis, 3 blocks, LeBron James, 30 points.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other things that have to happen. So that's why I have to keep watching the box score. But if it was on the screen,
and it went ding.
Yeah.
Like, yes, one's come in.
One
ding.
leg, ding, next leg. Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. I mean, sure, there's going to be some legal issues around the advertising of gambling that they're going to have to negotiate. But, fuck, if you're on there, you're already gambling anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the difference between that and what they do before the Super Rugby and have someone walking and talking around the boundary talking about the specials?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't think there is any major rules apart from that, but if you opt into it, then surely.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously have to be signed into probably signed into your account.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know. It's good though. I like it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the TAB can capture something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would work that well for rugby union. You could get on like who scores next. The price fluctuates a little bit, but people don't tend to gamble that way on union, do they?
It's usually at the start of the game. You just go bang and you just get on it. You get on your last try scorer, first try scorer, points differential. You don't really.
Yeah.
Like you're right.
Cricket's perfect.
Particularly a test match. Yeah, you are. There's so many swings going around with that.
Well, and over-under on the amount of runs in the next over is one of my favourite ways to, particularly when a test match gets boring and you're trying to find your own entertainment.
Yeah.
You sprinkle a couple of dollars on there being more or less than 3 runs in the next over. Like that'll be perfect for that. While you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, it looks like they've just asked Glenn Phillips to, roll the arm over next over.
Always bowls a couple of looseners.
So we're going to go over on that one, but then new ball's due next over, so we're going to go under.
How would you go over though? The ball's hard.
Well, the ball is hard. It's going to come off the bat, but are they just going to see it out for a little bit? It's, these kind of things that you're already doing, and it's just combining the two things into the one. Where you used to have to sit there with your phone open, flicking between the bloody TAB and what was my bet. Oh, I can't remember if that came in or not. So I think this is a great idea. We need to get it involved in maybe the ACC's commentary. Yeah. So if we can get on TV and we've got the TAB incorporated into that, I mean,
that'd be sick.
That's the holy trinity. Yeah. It's brilliant. And another piece of NBA info that you chucked into the group chat this morning, LeBron is doing, and I can't believe he's thought of this. This is insightful, incredible. He's starting a podcast. What a great idea.
Shit. What now?
Yeah.
He's crazy. No one's listening to podcasts.
No, I know. Well, this is the thing. It's become fashionable. JJ Redick, who used to play in the NBA, he's probably been the best of the retired NBA players to start a podcast.
Yeah.
The other one is probably Draymond Green, only because he's still playing. So he'll play a game and then talk shit about the people that he played against afterwards on his own podcast. That's quite interesting. But LeBron and JJ are starting a podcast exclusively around strategy. So it's all just going to be deep dive X and O's shit. It's going to be like, me personally, I love it. I love listening to that shit. When like just all basketball X's and O's, they've run floppy for 3 possessions, but then now they're going to deny off ball on this guy, so they're going to set a blind pig pick off this way. Then they're
you lost me on floppy. You lost me on floppy.
Yeah,
you lost me on floppy.
They're going to bloody run a little rip curl with the Iverson cut and then the back screen for the hammer action. I love all this kind of stuff. And there's not really anywhere that you can go to watch it, because if you're trying to grow a new podcast, that's how you turn people off.
Well, that's what I mean. He doesn't care.
No.
It's like, does he need to do this? No. Does he want to do it? Probably, maybe. Does he want to just be a full nerd out? Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what it is, then I'm all in, because I think that'd be quite fun. I think that too often it's like you said, it does get boring when people are talking genuine X's and O's sometimes. But it is also interesting to hear athletes talk about that kind of stuff, because I think the average fan doesn't really understand a lot about the sport that they watch. I think rugby union's probably the most like that.
Yeah, people underestimate, I think, how much strategy and how much game planning goes into looking at an opposition, looking at how they play, how their defensive structures will change, how they're going to attack around the ruck, where their weaknesses are. I think the majority of people just think they just roll out with the same team each week and just try and smash them.
Yes, yeah. But there's whole game plans, there's whole strategies, the way that teams defend and the whole thing changes, but nobody ever talks about it, even on the radio, because, like you say, it can turn a lot of people off.
I'm about to say, you've got to be a real code head
to
get a wide on for talking rugby strategy.
But I think it would be good. It would, like, we as a sports viewing public, we need to be educated a bit more into what people are doing, because too often we're just like, oh, that guy's shit. It's like, no, he's not shit. He was just trying to do this, or his job was this, or the role was this, or, the team was trying to do X, Y, Z. And they never talk about that stuff.
Not being totally au fait with the strategy of rugby league.
Yeah.
For me, I look at that and I just presume the Warriors come out every week and play the same game.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not, but because of different opposition, there's different strengths in each opposition. But me as just a fly-by-nighter bandwagoner, I just look at it and go, let's do the same shit. They pass it back on the 5th tag, goes to Sean Johnson, he sends it into the air. They kick it back, DWZ picks it up, Montoya picks it up, hits it up, DWZ hits it up, 3 hits up, kick it back. You know what I mean?
But and because that is exactly what it looks like. But there are a lot of strategies that go into it, particularly the way the Warriors play, where they always try and score down that right-hand side. And so they've got 7 different branches of that one play that they...
the set moves with the dummy runners and everything, and the kind of workarounds they have there.
Yeah, but then there'll be like taking a settler just up to the left-hand post or the right-hand post to get them into position to run those plays. Obviously, the plan last week was to just drop it on Coates' head all night and try and wear him out so that hopefully he doesn't score a match-winning try against us in the last 2 minutes.
He had the last laugh, didn't he?
Didn't work. But also like things like Lane Tuapiki being out the back. The opponents are just going to be like, all right, do you want to try and catch 15 bombs tonight? I reckon you can't. And so there's that kind of stuff. And then there's the even deeper stuff that like one-on-one defensive stuff. You're looking at the guy who's about to catch the ball. You go, right, he's a right-handed carry. He carries the ball in his right hand, so I need to be on this shoulder. But then if he's got this guy, it's just, I do think we need to know more of that stuff as fans. I don't know if there's an appetite there.
Like you said, I don't know. I think there's a very small subset of full code nerds, cricket nerds. I mean, the BYC podcast, they would love the shit out of overanalyzing a game because, I mean, cricket has the most stats of all time.
Yeah.
And their audience has a huge wide on for that kind of crap. But still, it's a very small subset.
I guess the thing is with basketball, it's got such a massive audience.
Yeah.
And also it's LeBron James that's doing it. You know, it's like Messi talking about football.
Yeah.
As opposed to just us talking about dumb shit. But anyway, I'm looking forward to watching that one. I thought it was just going to be them blabbering on about shit, and I was like, there's enough of that. Also, LeBron, bit of an eat-ass. Like, he just constantly tries to make himself seem... There's so many photos of him online reading a book. He loves being photographed reading a book every single time he's on the first page. And it's like, it's conspiracy theory, LeBron's never made it past the first page of any book he's read. He always just tries to make himself look like he's, more than an athlete.
And the suspicious hairline recovery as well.
Oh, yeah. What if I told you that the greatest comeback in basketball wasn't on the court? It was on LeBron's head. Because you watch through the early 2010s, his headband starts getting thicker.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it gets thinner again and then it's gone. It's like,
magic headband.
What happened there?
He was cultivating hair under that headband. It was like a little glass house.
Yeah, maybe he took a flight on the old Turkish hairlines. I don't know. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more of the agenda. Lane, I might be off the Crusaders. I think.
Oh, don't do that, man. Look, I didn't mean all that stuff I said to you, about how you built your whole personality around the Crusaders. Don't take it to heart. You are a Crusaders fan. Just because you've lost a few, just come on.
It's not because of that.
Oh, really?
It's because of the people who've tried to come to our aid. This Christopher Luxon yesterday, despite the fact that he was 7 years old when he moved to Auckland and that the Crusaders were formed when he was 25, it's not that. Well, it's partly that. And now, guess who's come to their aid? Ricky Stewart. So,
all Ricky Stewart needs to come over and give them a full dressing room toweling.
Yeah.
Are you a fan, Ricky? Can you get on a plane? And if they lose to the Blues
I would
on
love
Saturday
that so
night,
much.
In comes Ricky Stewart.
There's 23 cunts in this room. I reckon 21 is the dumbest cunts I've ever fucking met.
Correct.
Losing my voice.
Correct. Do that. How good would that be? That would be the only use of Ricky Stewart for the Crusaders.
Mate, it's so fucking easy for you, and you still fucked it up. That would be pretty good.
So how's he come to the rescue? Like, how's he weighed in on it?
Because the Warriors are playing in Christchurch against the Raiders.
And he got asked at a press conference. Of course he did.
No. The Raiders are there. They went to training. They went to Crusaders training.
Oh, they trained with the Crusaders?
They just watched the Crusaders train, and then Ricky came into the sheds afterwards and gave them a bit of a bit of inspiration, I guess. He said that the Raiders had dropped 4 of their first 5 games last year, and then they went on to win 7 of their next 8. They eventually went on to make the playoffs. So he was giving them sort of the insight as to how they did it, and then they never gave up belief and blah, 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 blah. But the 2 most high-profile people that have come out in support of the Crusaders...
Not big fans of yours? You're not big fans of theirs?
I'm not big fans of theirs. I mean, Luxon's security just about dropped me the other day. Out at the Karaka Millions.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. If I was running Luxon's security and you came up and
grabbed him by the shoulder.
Yeah,
looking to tear him up like a treaty.
Yeah, correct.
For context, he said he was going to come on the live stream. And he said, grab me before I leave and I'll jump on the live stream.
He didn't literally grab him though. I think he might, hey, not grab him, like physically grab him.
So I reached for his throat, and no, I just went to tap him on the shoulder. As soon as my arm came out, I was in like an arm lock. I was in like a jiu-jitsu arm lock from some guy who I hadn't even seen. I don't know where he came from. Came out the floorboards and put me in the full Nelson. But anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of out on that. Here's an interesting stat about the Crusaders. Only flanker Tom Christie started the final against the Chiefs in Hamilton last June. He's the only one in the starting team this weekend.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, Cullen Grace, was he injured or something?
Cullen Grace for style and pace. He must
Cullen Grace, don't touch the face.
He must have been. Yeah, it's the injuries. Dog rolls out. Ethan Blackadder's out. They got obviously the Exodus as well.
Owen Four's suspended.
Owen Four's suspended. Christian Leo Willie's out as well. So yeah, that's old Rob Penny, not many, said today, we are probably an 8-cylinder motor going on 6 cylinders and the choke is out. I'd say the choke is probably in is the problem.
I suppose when the choke's out,
you're letting more air in.
Yeah, and there's a lot more fumes and smoke coming out the back.
Yeah,
but it's not really working properly.
The one positive thing about them is that he's been talking about how they haven't dropped lip. I mean, when you've won, look, I don't want to go over it again. Oh, God. When you've won like 7 in a row, it'd be easy not to drop lip. You know the game plan. We're going to turn it around. Blues is going to be tough tomorrow. On Saturday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll run through a full Super Rugby breakdown of all of the games, but I just thought that was quite interesting. And another thing that caught my eye, back to the cricket world for a second, Aussie have pulled out of their Afghanistan ODI series. This was set down to be played in the UAE.
Yep.
And I thought it was interesting because they pulled out due to human rights concerns around the Taliban's treatment of women. They're not allowed to go to university anymore. I think there's something around females aren't allowed to see male doctors, but now that females can't go to university, there are going to be no female doctors. So where do you go as a woman in a few years when there's no more doctors? I don't know. There's a lot of human rights issues going on over there. But this isn't new. This has been happening since 2021 when the Taliban took over again. Why did it take them so long to be like, oh, we're actually pulling out of this ODI series? Why did it only happen like a couple of weeks out from the series?
Yeah, the Taliban haven't changed their tune.
No, this isn't a new Taliban.
They haven't put out a new manifesto. They're pretty consistent in how they go about things.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, they blew up the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
They have had some pretty radical ideas.
That was Al-Qaeda. That was
Al-Qaeda. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Taliban.
They're interlinked.
Yeah. So it's suspicious timing to me. We talked about this yesterday in the office. Kind of feels like they were like, oh, trip to the UAE? Yeah, okay. Well, why don't we just wait right up to the week before and then we'll pull out of the series? But we've still got our accommodation and our flights and everything teed up. We now all of a sudden just have a week in Abu Dhabi to hang out.
Not a bad place to hang out because no doubt they'll be staying at the Fairmont or some absolutely loaded hotel.
Yep.
Surely they're not travelling still.
I don't know, man. SeaWorld's pretty sick in Abu Dhabi.
Surely they're not travelling still. But I think that's just the case that they can't be asked as well.
Yeah, there's not really anything out for them.
What's the win?
I don't know, yeah.
Thump Afghanistan or get beaten by Afghanistan?
Which would be even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I don't really know.
But it is a T20 World Cup year, so, I mean, it'd be good practice.
It would be good practice. These were ODIs.
Oh, ODIs. Sorry. That's the reason why.
If they were
the reason why.
If they were T20s, do you reckon they'd go ahead?
They should have just gone over there and declared it 20 overs. So it's an ODI, and they just bay 20 and then see how they go. Although it's a bit harder when the opposition come in and just noodle it around for 50 overs and beat you.
Yeah. Has anyone ever declared an ODI?
Nah. No, I think the closest you get from that is if it is a player injured and they're 9 down and they go.
Yeah, right. That'll do us.
No.
I think this should be a power move for the ACC. For the next Dulux Tradies 11. Declare after 15 overs. Yeah, that'll do us.
That'll leave. We've got enough on the board.
Lane comes out of the sheds and just calls the boys back in. Come on, fellas, that'll do us. Oh, the T20 declaration.
Ironically, it'll probably be the only game we ever win, and then we just step away from the scene.
Yeah,
never to play again.
Like Jordan beating the Utah Jazz, we just sail off into the sunset. All right, we've got another game that we like to play on this podcast. This is something that we brought in about a month ago. I like to put a question to you, decide whether you're in or out, whether you're up or down, whether you would like to spit or swallow. Today's one, Lane.
Yep.
Sky Sport is set to extend its coverage of the Sal's NBL starting next week, which, by the way, the NBL starts next week. I'm a big fan of the NBL. Starting next week.
Who's your team?
Probably the Canterbury Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
Yeah.
They're still around the Rams.
Yeah, I think the Rams are.
One of the OGs, aren't they? They're between them and the Saints.
Yep, Saints.
Yeah. Is the Nelson Giants still about?
Nelson Giants, yeah.
The Nuggies?
Yep, the Nuggies.
Yeah.
I used to train at the same time the Nuggies trained, and every now and then when they needed people to stand in for drills.
Like a road cone.
Like a road cone. Yeah, I'd go and do it. And I remember doing it.
How many times did you get piss bowled?
I did so they didn't have enough people that were willing to stand in BJ Anthony's way. So former Tall Black, you remember, he was a big bastard. Yeah. He built like a Hereford bull, about 6'8", and they didn't want to risk injuring any of their players. They're like, do any of you guys want to come and just stand in here? I was like, yeah, fucking hey, this would be awesome. I'll go and train with I'll go and train with the Nuggets.
That's like Lockie Ferguson. They're going, you don't want to go and bat in front of Lockie, but Bose don't want to get injured. He just wants to get up to pace.
That's right. And so he was just practicing post moves and just obliterated me for like 10, 15 minutes. Elbows in the chest, elbows in the face, just getting fucking. And then in the end, he was just sort of like, what is this? This guy's a foot shorter than me. Like, what am I actually training here? And they were like, thanks, mate, you've done enough.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
They got one of the guys. Yeah.
You limp away.
Thanks, guys, for a treat.
I had a situation when I lived in England. After I left school, I went to England for a year and I farted around and I taught cricket at a school, and the head of cricket there was still playing county cricket. Oh, yeah. And he was coming up against Alan Donald that weekend.
Oh, shit.
And he'd had a bit of history with Alan Donald, and so he said, can you come to the nets and give me a hand for a sec? I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Basically, here's a tennis racket. Here's a bucket of balls. Can you smash these at me short as hard as you can from half pitch length?
Shit.
And so basically I stood there and I tried to hit him for an hour of me just smashing
cricket balls
at him.
With a tennis racket?
Yeah, while he swayed and ducked out of the way of every single one.
On an artificial pitch?
No, it was on a grass pitch. But it was pretty funny. I was like, how much does he hate you? And he goes, there's a bit going on. I was like, oh, shit.
That is brilliant. But back to Split or Swallow.
Yeah.
Sky Sport is set to extend its coverage of the NBL. Starting next week, every Wednesday game will be broadcast live on TikTok. Split or Swallow, watching sports on social media.
Look, I'll swallow it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're in?
I'll swallow it purely because, look, I won't watch it. I mean, I'll spit it. If that's the only choice, if you say to me, hey, the Warriors are on this weekend, it's only on TikTok, I'd tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But if
that's not the case.
Yes, but it's an additional channel.
Yeah.
Oh, look, NBL, it's a pretty niche little league in New Zealand.
A little bit, yeah.
If it means 1,000, 2,000 more people are going to watch it, then sure, go for it. I didn't think it was possible to live stream an hour and a half on TikTok anyway.
No, that's what I was wondering as well. Do you have TikTok?
No.
No. The app's on my phone listening to me constantly, but I don't go on it.
No.
I don't know. But do your kids?
No. They know about it.
Young.
They know about it.
Yeah.
The oldest knows about it and wants it.
Yeah.
Purely because they're so brain dead that they can watch things for 5 or 6 seconds and then they move on. But YouTube Shorts is pretty much the equivalent, and that is mind-numbing.
Yeah.
But it kind of YouTube Shorts. It's written the kind of clues in the title. It's short, and that's what TikTok is.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting as well. And then, so if I'm watching it on TikTok, because TikTok's all vertical, am I watching the game on vertical? Because that's not a great way to watch it. But again, like you say, if it means that a few more people watch it, because I've really enjoyed the NBL over the last couple of years.
I'm enjoying
a good league.
The Tuatara. I go along to the Event Finder Stadium, watch the Tuatara. That's always good. Kids, they love it. They don't care. They could be the Breakers for all they care. You know what I mean? Like, they just love going down there. And particularly with the NBL, you can pretty much get courtside.
Yes.
The seats are pretty empty. You can just go down there and sit there. The kids just maraud around the back of the players' benches.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Me and Joe Jury went and watched the Nuggets beat the Tuatara a couple of years ago. Blind drunk on the sideline watching the championship ceremony. It was excellent.
Oh yeah, I actually won the dad's dance off. At a Tuatara game, and it was like one of those situations where I took probably 8 10-year-old boys with me, and there was a couple of other parents, and then a person came along from Tuatara and said, "Hey, we're doing a dancing competition."
Yeah,
and Ralph goes, go on, Dad, you win the prize. And I'm like, oh, God, no. And then all his mates started chanting, Ralph's dead. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to lead from the front here. You don't need to be ashamed. You don't need to be embarrassed about anything. I'm happily do this.
Yeah.
And then they got another dad from the other side of the stadium to stand out, and then at a timeout, and I remember seeing Andrew Mulligan on commentary just bent over laughing. And then they played it, and I pulled out the running man, and I fucking kicked his ass.
And that was enough to do it?
Yeah.
What did he bring?
He was actually real lame. He was full dad dance, like side to side clapping, and I went full like down fucking. I went the whole hog and basically got a standing ovation from Ralph and all his mates. And I won a $250 Nikita site radio.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's in the garage. So that was, I mean, the humiliation wasn't quite worth it because one of the Tuatara's PR persons took a photo which ended up on social media.
I've seen this. Yes.
And then Storm Purvis, I think, may have put it on Crowd Goes Wild.
Yes.
Like, it went a bit further than I thought. I didn't realise how anonymous it was going to be. But there you go. So get along to an NBL game.
Oh, look, I tell you what, if they streamed the dad dance off on TikTok, that'd be enough for me to log into the app, I reckon. Time for one more quick break. We'll be right back.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Just the one piece of feedback for today on the talkback function on iHeartRadio. Caller, yours, please.
Gentlemen, anonymous caller here. In reply to your wingers scoring in the corner, here's a solution. When the opposition is inside your 20 attacking you, what you do is 2 of your players peel off on the 5th tackle, go and lie down in that little 20 centimetre square area where the wingers plant the ball, and they can't get it down on the try. There you go. Problem solved.
That would be like, imagine if your job is to sprint across and just, you lie face down or face up?
No, face up, because you want to be able to use your arms to sort of, you want to see what's going on.
It would look pretty funny. 2 dudes just stretched out in the corner. Like, do you kind of go, like, do you put you in, is it half and half? Like, does the goal line go over your middle part, so you can block?
I think I would lie lengthwise along the goal line, in the in goal, so that my shoulders form a line with the out, so my head's actually out of bounds. But my torso's taking up the landing pad where they're trying to put it down.
To me, how terrifying would it be? You are the landing pad, and you can see a winger coming down the sideline. You're like,
Xavier Coates.
You're like, oh shit, back, and you can see him get airborne, and you're like, oh, this is gonna hurt.
And you're just desperately trying to swat the ball away as he's about 2 meters in the air over the top here.
Teams must be thinking about it. But can you do the foot slide? Can you do the Matthew Ridge foot slide?
What, like a?
Because he used to do that. Can you remember he used to do that?
Yeah. I feel like no. I haven't seen anyone do it in a long time.
Maybe that's why. Because you could do the full run across foot slide across the goal line.
Wow, I think at that point you're sort of tackling someone with your feet. Like a studs up challenge is what you're saying.
Studs up challenge only to the corner, not to the player. Because if you see a player starting to dive and you just slide along your
Kung
foot.
Fu kick him. Yeah, I haven't seen that. So
along the ground, not Kung Fu kick the player.
I know. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I feel like it must have been outlawed. Because I think if you make contact with them, like, chances are you're going to hit them in the head, which is then, at that point, a penalty try.
Something's going to happen, because they're getting more and more ridiculous.
That Xavier Coates one is it's the Fosbury flop moment.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, hang on, everything's changed. We've got to change how we defend this. The best I've seen is RTS a few years ago, it must have been 2018 when he was last with the Warriors. He made a try-saving tackle in that exact fashion. He was sprinting across, not the studs up. He dove and tackled the guy and swatted the ball out of his hand.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Whacking their arm. Yes, because invariably you've got to hold it in one hand to pull this off.
Yeah.
So if you just like attack the forearm, it basically dislodge the ball. Because it wouldn't take much.
No.
So you basically attack the arm.
Yeah, attack the arm. Because at the moment, basically all they try and do is bundle them into touch. But if you're leaping 2 meters into the air like Xavier Coates did, like there's no amount of bundling them into touch that you can do.
So you need to return fire. Like, it's like the Patriot missile for the Scud missile. You've got to go up with them and just
the Iron Curtain.
Yes, and you've got the Iron Curtain. So you are the Iron Curtain. You've just got to go airborne as well and meet them at the top of the apex.
Is it going to get to the point where we have defensive wingers who are just the iron curtains of the corner?
And they just fly out.
Yeah, and they just meet them in midair. I mean, that's basically what we were proposing last week with the sliding under them like a mechanic.
Yeah.
But this guy's saying take it a step further and just park up there and stop them. I think there's merit to it. I don't know. I think that there's something in it. Do you then, at that point, if that's what you're doing, wouldn't you want a bigger body? So you probably put your props in the corners because they're going to take up more of the corner.
You got to get him there, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, so 2 tackles beforehand, Adam Fanua-Blake and Mitch Barnett have to peel out to the wings.
And just stand there.
And then corpse it on the try line. I don't know. There's something in there. It's not the dumbest thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. Chumbawamba has demanded New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters stop using its #1 hit, Tubthumping, at his rallies and events because the band opposes the populist politician's agenda. Last week, Peters used the song ahead of his State of the Nation speech where he discussed removing gender and sexuality lessons from the school curriculum and compared the co-governance to Nazi Germany. Chumbawamba suing Winston Peters.
Can we just move on? Like, for fuck's sake. I mean, can we just get on with like just life? If people want to put Māori names in streets or in towns or in government departments, let them do it. Who cares?
My thing is,
like all this shit. Who cares? It's all superfluous shit.
Oh, you're getting bogged down in the actual politics of it. I'm just saying Chumbawamba suing Winston Peters is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of in my life. And it lends credence to my conspiracy theory. I don't have many of them. I think Michael Jordan was on drugs. That's why he retired the first time. And I think that the world actually ended 4 years ago and we've all just been going around in a dream where like none of this is real anymore.
That first conspiracy is one of the biggest hot takes you've
glossed over.
Yeah, you've glossed over that one. Yeah, interesting.
Well,
okay,
it's unheard of.
Chumbawamba, I didn't even know they're still around. Like who? Like are they still touring Chumbawamba? Are they still a thing, Chumbawamba?
What's your second favourite Chumbawamba song?
Or is this just some New Zealand loser who's called Chumbawamba, told them about Winston Peters, told them about his policies, and then got a comment from Chumbawamba, and then released it with Chumbawamba aren't happy?
If you had told me 4 years ago Chumbawamba's going to sue Winston Peters,
do you know what? Chumbawamba can get fucked. Do you know why? Because they have made so much money out of kind of the Outback Inn in Hamilton playing that fucking song.
Oh, I think that did a lot of damage to their reputation.
I know, look, we've given enough to Chumbawamba. We can do whatever you want your song, bunch of Chumbawambas.
Now whenever he's walking through the halls of Parliament, journalists are playing Tubthumping at him. Oh, God, it's ridiculous. Another one of these ridiculous surveys has come out, Lane. This time it's the happiest countries in the world. The top sort of 4 or 5 won't surprise you. They're all the Scandinavian Nordic countries. Your Finlands, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden. The 5th country may surprise you. Israel is the 5th happiest country in the world.
That's interesting. No, the Scandinavian countries are interesting because, you know, they say money can't buy happiness.
Seems like it can.
Yeah, because winter in those places is where a lot of people kill themselves.
Well, they don't see the sun for about 4 months.
Yeah. But obviously the people that manage to don't kill themselves are pretty happy. And there's a reason why they're pretty happy is because the North Sea's got a lot of oil in it.
Yeah. And crabs.
Anyway, Israel, interesting. Israel, I think that's more of a maybe people saying they're happy when they're not.
Well, I did talk to someone
they've been told
from one of the Nordic. Yeah, well, I think they're under strict instructions to be very fucking happy. I did talk to someone from one of the Nordic countries recently, and they said that a big part of it is they don't ever want to be seen to be complaining. So if they're going to be surveyed about how happy are you, they're all going to say very happy because it's bad to be seen complaining. Whereas here in New Zealand, we love whinging. Despite that, we made the top 10 again. Oh, actually, we slipped out of the top 10 for the first time. Only just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are 11th. And we're right behind Australia.
Yeah, I see Kuwait snuck into the top 15.
How?
We mentioned before money can't buy happiness. It fucking can.
It sure can. Ireland, the Czech Republic, Lithuania. Very happy country, Lithuania. Never been there. Probably not about to go there either. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we slipped out of the...
I just want to know the methodology. Like, what? Is it just a question, are you happy?
Are you happy?
Do they just go? Do they get the phone book and just ring 1,000 people in New Zealand and say, "You happy?
You happy?"
Like,
yes. No.
I didn't get the survey. Did you?
No.
Did you get the survey?
No. Maybe they're dodging miserable cunts. That's why neither of us heard from them. All right, I reckon we knocked this thing on the head. We will be back tomorrow for an abridged version of the agenda on a Friday because we have the Wellington leg of the ACC Golf Open.
Yep.
So we'll have a quick whip around of the sport coming up across the weekend. We're going to the Sail GP on Saturday and Sunday as well. So a busy weekend for the ACC. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.